Hi there, this is Jacqueline with Nikkel Dime Decor. Thank you so much for joining me, and I am so excited to show you my version of Sashiko Quilting. I've wanted to do this forever, and this quilt that I did with the very vivid bright colors, you know, the turquoise, I'll show it to you in just a second. It just calls for this. It really does. Sashiko Quilting, I'm not an expert by any means, but it is a form of art from the Japanese people. And they put it on clothing, is what it really kind of started as. And it is quilting with big thread, a big needle, big stitches. It's not something everybody probably thinks is beautiful like I do, but I'm just excited about it. It's fast. You can sit in your chair with your feet up, no hoop, no nothing, and just relax and do it. It is mesmerizing to me. All right, I'm gonna put the camera down and show you the supplies that you need. And then we'll do a little video on one square. We'll show you how to do it. You will need thread, of course, and it is called Sashiko thread. You can find it on most any outlets, anywhere on the web. This was from Amazon. I would not buy it again because I could not find the beginning or the end. And I've had to sit and tediously just unravel. I mean, it was the biggest mess into a ball. So I could use it. It is 40 I presume is millimeters. And here is a needle and thread, or you can see how pretty thick that is. Now you can use 2 strands if you really want a big, outstanding result. I'm using 1 because I'm learning to do this, and I didn't want any complications of it twisting on me. And I think 1 is more than sufficient. It works. Now, the key to this is when you have a knot under, under here, if you had your front piece, your batting, and your backing, it would be very hard to pull that knot, this big knot, through 3 layers. Well, I came up with this plan that I am only quilting the top and the batting. I am going to put my backing on and tie it. And I will tie it on these squares on all 4 corners and 1 in the middle. And I think that will even add to the, I call it bohemian, I can't really think of any other word, look to it all. And I'm going to tie it with this big thread. You want a friction pin to mark your pattern. Works like a charm. I know some people say it's ruined things they've used it on, but I have never had a problem. And I picked out 2 of the stencils that I had that are working absolutely wonderful. You want a straight geometric pattern of some kind. It doesn't have to be, just don't make it rounded. It has to be straight. That's the key to Sashiko quilting, is straight line stitching. This I picked out, it's hard for you to, I'll show you this one just in a second. I'll get up a little closer to everything. But this one is this. You would never know that that is this. But see, when you only take a portion of it and mark your pattern, you've got a neat geometric pattern. Or put it up this way and get your 2 lines. There's just so many ways of doing it. Do it however, but you've got so many different choices with just one stencil. And that's how that came to be. Now with the stencil, if you were hand quilting, you see all where the spaces are, where it doesn't connect. Of course you connect on that when you're doing regular hand quilting. But on this, we're not. We want that jagged looking, you know, separated look. So I left all of those points and did not, I followed strictly where the cutouts are, and I didn't join where the spaces are. Well, just find you a pattern like that. Now on this one, the same thing applies. Look how you could put this down and there's your pattern. That works just fine for this, for Sashiko Quilting. This works great. But look here, you can move it up and you want it kind of centered. So there, you have a whole nother look. Go up a little further and do that. You've got a whole nother look. This one stencil, you can get probably 4 or 5 different looks. And it's perfect for this. And for my borders, see, I have, on this side, remember, there's only two borders. On the top side, there are 3 borders. Well, look at this stencil. Even look at this one for the border. That's a little more complicated. Don't look at the flower because you wouldn't put that. You don't put something like that with Sashiko. But see how that fits and would work beautifully through all 3 rows. And then maybe do this one on the 2 rows. And there you've got your 2 rows. Okay, aren't you excited? I hope you are. I hope you'll do this. Oh, you will have so much fun. Okay, now, and you know, on this square, all I did was take a 1/2 inch and mark it with my pen and go in on the other. This is just a 9 patch, and put it up here and draw my line. And 2 lines 1/2 inch and 1/2 inch, and 2 lines 1/2 inch in on both sides. And then I just proceeded. It's a little tough going through the seams, but that's why I didn't go all the way into the seam. I went up just a little bit, just a fraction. Okay, now when you thread your thread, you've got to have a great big eye, and you've got to have a tapestry or embroidery needle that will accommodate your thread easily, that you can thread it pretty good. It doesn't have a real sharp point, but it works. It works fine. I can't tell you the size. It's just a tapestry embroidery needle, okay? And it's pretty thick, but it works so good. Now, this is one that I've started that I'm gonna show you. I wanna show you exactly how to do this. And I want to get here where you can see what I'm doing. You can pick this up and just put your hand under it. This is what's so much fun. It's just sitting and working on this, watching TV, because it's not something that just has to be so precise. But you want to decide how big of a stitch you want. And my stitches are about so. Just about that long. And then you will go in and make another stitch just about that long. And then you'll go back in and this is what you measure. You put that, the length of your stitch that you want. Go back in and do it one more time. And get it as even in that black on your line that you can. Make it straight as you can. That one needs to be a little bit. All right. Then you just pull it through. Look at that. Now we'll do another stitch about the same. Look at where your thread is, and that's about the length that we want. And we've only got now, this is what I want to show you. When you see if I did this and went all the way back up to here, my line is stopped. All I've got, I won't have anything right here. You see what I'm saying? So I'm either gonna have to make shorter stitches so I can make one more stitch, and then I'm gonna go down into my fabric at the end of my row. I've got my needle going down. And just reach under there and pull it. Now that's only for when you get to the end of the row. But see, I had to do that in order to get to the end of where I needed to be. So you're not always gonna come out just perfect. You've got to improvise kind of. That's a smaller stitch, but it's what I had to do. Now, there's a little bitty stitch right here. I don't think you can see that, but you see my line right there? It wants me to make a stitch right there. Do not worry that you're bringing your thread up way from here. You're going to have a long stitch on the back side, but this is the beauty of this. We're covering it up with our backing. So it doesn't matter what it looks like underneath. So I'm ready to make that one stitch. And just go down, not right into the seam, but close to it. Pull it through. Now, there's my stitch. See right there? There's my stitch. Now, the next place to go is way over here. I don't really want to waste that much thread. I'm right here, and I finished up way over here. Now that's a little bit too big of a jump for me, so I'm gonna turn it over, and I'm gonna tie my knot, and I'm gonna start over. You know how to make a knot, of course, I hope. Just make you a loop and put your thread through it and hold it. Don't let go of it, or you'll make your knot way up here and you'll waste too much thread. Put your finger right there so it doesn't go anywhere. Now there's your knot. And I ordinarily would have had it much closer to the end, but that's all right. Okay, there's my little knot right there, and it's got a tail, and that's okay too. It's not going to show, and it's you try to get it as flat up against there. My knot's so sticking up a little bit, but you want it as flat to there as you can get it. All right, then we're going to make another knot in the thread. Don't worry about the tail. Okay, now we want to start on this long line. Well, I'm going to do the inside for you because I want you to see how when you're only making a little bitty row, okay? Let's go ahead and do this. I want you to see, we're just going to do this one little bitty row right here. And I can't seem to get my needle in the right place. Okay, now you're going to have to judge how many stitches you can get on this little bitty piece. There are all kinds of different weights. You can get much heavier thread than this. Just depends on what you want. I think this is a perfect size. I really do. All right, let's see if we get one great big one and come up. We're still only going to have one length. So I am betwixt and between what to do here. All right, there's one stitch. There's one stitch. But then when we come back up, we're still going to be at the front and we want to be at the back. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to have to make my line just a little bit longer. All right, there's my stitching. Pretty evenly spaced, and I went back down. I went just a little longer than I wanted to, than my line, but I had to do that to get it to be even. Now just pull your thread out, and there's my short line. Now you see what I mean. When you have short lines, you've got to have shorter stitches. Your long lines, you can do the bigger stitches, okay? And then just go back up here to your next line. And start right there. And do this. This is again a short line. So you're gonna have to make try to make 3 small stitches. Okay. Oh my gosh, I just so hope you'll try this. I'm telling you, it is the cutest thing I think I've ever done. That's what makes life exciting, and it is to learn something new each and every day. When I get it all done, I'll have a finished picture of it. It goes very quickly, very quickly. You can have, if you sat down and worked on this all day, oh my stars, I think you would have 2 rows. I really do. If you just sat and worked on it, you could have 2 rows done. This is a little quilt with 5 blocks on each row, and You know, if I didn't have anything else to do, but I've got tons of other stuff I have to do, so I have to do everything in bits and pieces. But please, please get you what you need. It's well, it's going to take quite a bit of thread. It does. It takes quite a bit of thread. But it was really, it was pretty reasonable. I wouldn't say inexpensive, but it was reasonable. Okay, thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. God bless.